segment is sponsored by Our Home Magazine on newsstands now.
All right, today energy-efficient homes are becoming more and more popular, but in the 80s, it was a very uncommon sight. In 1980, the first Earth House was built in our area in Henrico County. Our next guest caught up with the homeowners who still reside in this unique energy-efficient dwelling and featured them in the current issue of Our Home Magazine. Senior writer Harry Koletz Jr. is back with us to share more about this one-of-a-kind home. Thanks for coming in, Harry.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now Jess pointed out before we came on that you know how you tell it's turned from summer to fall in Richmond? Harry the Hat changes from a straw hat to a felt hat.
That's right.
So it must be fall. You're here with
Thank
the felt
you.
hat
It is
on.
autumn. I bring autumn with me.
Well, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Great to be.
This Earth House, built in 1980, while the people were working on it, they were wearing Earth shoes. A little-known fact.
Little known fact. Bob Cosby Jr.
Bob Cosby Jr.
Yes.
That's not Bing's younger brother.
No. He is, of course, an engineer from Virginia Tech, trained there. And he actually got this idea while he was doing a great deal of construction, what he called the condo corridor in Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
And in Fairfax County, there's a Terracet Elementary was built into a knoll, and he in the late 70s, and he worked on that project, and he became inspired and said, I wonder if I could build a house using these principles. Now you have to remember, this is just post the Arab oil embargo, for those of you, for the Utes in the audience.
Every other day gasoline rationing
73,
and all
74.
of that stuff. Yeah.
So this started to filter into the consciousness of home builders and homeowners. In the late 70s, 75, 76, there was a constellation of developments in Chesterfield County called Solar 1, Solar 2, Solar 3.
I remember those. One off of Courthouse Road.
Exactly, between Courthouse and Providence and Midlothian Turnpike. And these were contemporary houses with solar principles. There were some earth-type houses, but, and there were a couple of other individual examples of this in Henrico County. But Mr. Cosby is the first and only that I know of to actually successfully have built and continues to live in, raised his family in a family of man cave.
It is literally built into the ground.
Exactly, built into the ground.
Do they have windows in this Earth House?
They have as many windows in a regular house, but they're all on one side. You know, it's on the east side of the house. Okay. And they have a beautiful deck, as I know you appreciate decks. Multi-level. It's just in a gorgeous place.
And what part of town is this in?
It's off Patterson Avenue.
Off Patterson.
Yeah. Okay,
so how much money, I guess now we've got facts here, how much money have been saved by doing this energy-saving home, so to speak?
Well, I mean, he saves an incredible amount of money on heating and cooling because it maintains a steady temperature of 70 degrees all year round. And if you've lived in a solid brick house, you know how those houses retain the temperature of the previous day, either heat or cold. If you're underground, you're sheltered.
Like we go to Luray Caverns and the temperature's the same year-round there.
Exactly,
same
right.
Theory,
Same
only
theory,
it's not quite as good, but close.
Yeah, and so he, in the house has paid for itself enormously.
And it's a pretty good size house?
It's 3,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Underground?
Yes.
Well, part of it anyway.
Yeah, most of it's underground, yeah.
And so they raised the kids there, did the whole thing, and the temperature stays steady. Now, are they thinking of selling the house? Is this why you're here? You're the real estate agent?
No, he indicated to me that he's living there and he intends to stay there. I don't know. They have children, so who knows? Someone may end up with it.
So, you know, looking ahead, obviously, how come this hasn't become a trend?
Well, that's an interesting question. You know, in Virginia, we're very fond of our Tudors and our colonial revivals, and that kind of house is more common in more extreme temperatures in Canada, Florida, out in the Arizona with earth ships and so forth, because of extremes in heat and cold. But it never quite caught on in Virginia. Mr. Cosby told me that when they first had them, people were kind of eager, but they wanted them right now. And so they couldn't quite produce them fast enough. And then came along the industrial building of houses. And spec houses became less of, or designer houses became less of interest. So he was both of his time and ahead of his time in a way, because
Were these more expensive to build initially, or do we know? I mean, it was 1980.
He was his own contractor, and,
Yeah.
and he had his own firm, has his own firm. So the cost I'm not quite sure of, but you know, one would imagine that is, you know, the initial cost is digging out the earth or finding, it's like a hobbit house, you know.
Find the right spot.
You got to find the right spot to put it. Yeah. So
I'd like a tree house and an earth house.
I love treehouse.
Yeah. We'll work on that another day. That's
well,
the next feature.
The patio, the deck area kind of looks almost like a tree house, because it's
And we can see beautiful pictures, as always, in Our Home magazine.
Yes,
and
indeed.
The great writing of Harry the Hat. By the way, folks, I've got a great money-making idea for you. You should become an Uber driver.
An Uber driver.
And then give tours, because you know about all the architecture in Richmond.
I don't know if we'd ever get anywhere though.
I think we're done here. They're telling us get off of this. Check out Harry's full feature on the Cosby home and the latest issue of Our Home on newsstands now, or subscribe online. RichmondMagazine.com/home.